It's a great opportunity to engage you all in a dialogue on solutions. We've talked over the years off and on about the various problems that go on, from the substance abuse we're trying to help people recover from, the violence we're trying to reduce and or stop, the mental health services. But here's a tool that can help people who want to advance their life, move forward in their life, possibly even find services while they at it, because I'm sure when you're thinking of mental health and other things, those same professionals and avenues to learn, you also may or may not be able to find help. Oftentimes you can, because what we oftentimes do not know, every institution's psychology department has some people working on therapeutic interns. Mm-hmm. Every social work department has some people working on social work issues. So even though you may go there primarily for the academics and or the career path, if you need or someone you need, it's a great place to find the resources to help them. And what they can't do, they have a student at some hospital, some social service agency, some nonprofit that does the work. And you better believe one of those professors and or one of the people in that career department knows how to reach them and or those programs for you and connect you. And you only a website or a Google away. Or Perplexity. I think it really works. I tried it last night.
We're glad to hear that.
Yeah, so I pulled up some data for this grant we're writing.
Nice.
But anyway,
nice.
And we'll go over it after the show. Rason has some great information today. In actuality, he has a solid plan. And we're going to start with point A. He's going to tell you some things about why he developed the website, what's in the website, and things you can find and how you can access and utilize it as a tool for education or career development. And Rason, we'll turn it over to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you again for having me back on the show.
It's my honor and privilege, young fella.
My name is Rason Truss. Again, I am the founder and CEO of TrustInEd, TrustInEd.org, TrustInEd LLC, an education and career consulting organization. We focus directly on college and career readiness. That is from individuals that are 6th grade and up, high school, junior high individuals, people coming out of the military, and adults looking to change careers or looking for a new career, their first career. We understand the issue, the main issue is exposure. And I talked about it on week 1, we talked about it again on week 2, but time and time again, as I go into these classrooms, as I go into the prison, the individuals coming back from we call it reentry department.
And the prison pipeline.
Right? I always bite my tongue when I say it, because I just don't know the best way. It's a tough situation when you talk to those individuals.
Incarcerated.
One-on-one,
Currently
right?
incarcerated.
Currently incarcerated. Just trying to figure out the next step. And you only know what you have been exposed to. We hear a lot of times individuals say, I want to become a doctor, lawyer, nurse. What does that really mean? You find yourself, again, we spoke about this last week, you find yourself speaking about becoming a nurse, and then you forget that you have to do a year of your classes and then have at least a B and test into it. What happens if you don't pass the test? Now, I'm not trying to discourage anyone, but I want to make sure that we already have a solid plan in place before moving forward, right? Because that can hinder you. That can really slow you down and have you second guessing yourself. A lot of people become depressed at those moments when they fall out of class or fail out of class. And it's like, well, what do you do next, right? But if you knew this information going into it, then you would have been better prepared. And also understanding that there's different routes within those careers. Last week we spoke a lot about the medical industry. We talked a lot about paramedics, EMTs, firefighters. We talked about fire inspectors. So many different routes individuals can take. You just need to figure out what's the next option or what's available for you. So that's why I created this website. And when you talk about bootstraps, guys, we're going to get into the whole nitty gritty of running your own company. You hear a lot of individuals say, I want to be an entrepreneur. What does that really mean? Right? So I developed the website because I got tired of hearing individuals come to me and say, hey, I want to do, become a doctor or a lawyer, right? And not understanding that it takes 8 years for 4 years for your undergrad program, 4 years for med program. Once you complete med, and again, I'm not discouraging you, but once you complete that program, that's 8 years, then you have to test. What happens if you don't test? We're going to get into that in a second. After the 8 years, you then have to go to your residency. That's an additional 3 to 4 years, and then you have to complete your internship. But yet, these individuals don't even want to go to high school. These individuals don't even want to show up to class. So what are we really talking about? What are we really discussing, right? So let's look into this data that's available on TrustInEd.org. And if you were to go to the website, you will see at the top where it has home, degrees, certifications, training, and you can click on any option. So if you know yourself, you're going to say, I'm going to go ahead and select degrees. And let's say, you know what, I don't know if I want to get a bachelor's. Let me go ahead and select an associate's degree, which is a 2-year program. Now I can come across all this information that's available to me at a click of a button. And if I was to come across something that I never saw before, like chemical technician, what is that? Well, let me read more into this information. And so you would scroll down and you would read the duties that you will be performing during that career, within that career. You'll understand a little bit more about what educational requirements are needed to get into that line of work. Then you can understand a little bit more about the skills that's required. And most importantly, the pay itself. You have so many people talking about they want to make a lot of money. $93,000 sounds pretty good to me, don't it?
Oh, yes.
All right. And then understanding the job projection. So I try to get individuals to say, let's log into the website first. That's the first step. Let's take that time and invest in ourselves opposed to scrolling on social media. Instagram, unless you're on TrustInEd, you're following TrustInEd.
Yeah, right. Good one, buddy.
Unless you're following
good self-promotion there.
Absolutely, why not, right? So unless you're following TrustInEd on social media platforms, but what can you be doing in that time frame, right? When we all get to that sense of what it is that I should be doing at that moment.
Right.
So that's really what made me create this website, because I really wanted to say, okay, I know that there's a solution that's available, but where do we start? Well, we start by exposing everybody to it for free, right? Because you can just log into the website. You don't even need the credentials to even log in, right? We're not even tracking you. We just want you to log in and have access to it.
Have you talked to your buddy Ed lately?
I did.
Did you get him up and see if we can let him work for us today?
So Ed is an online advisor, and he's
it's his alter ego.
It's my alter ego, right? So Ed is an AI advisor that's here 24/7, 365 to support you in any way he can. So what you would do is you would go to where it says hear from Ed, and you can chat directly with Ed back and forth. You can start off by just saying, hey, I don't know what I want to do in my life. And that person is going to ask you some basic questions, one-on-one, as though you're really sitting in front of an advisor. And really based off that conversation, finding out your likes, your dislikes, your past background, your work experience, your education, anything that you have to offer can then recommend several career options to you. Yeah. I just did, so right now, thank you CPS. Yes. Thank you to
we're gonna
all the non-for-profit organizations that are out there that allow me to work with their individuals, with these students. So I have these group of individuals that were able to kind of work with Ed and get an idea, go through the homepage and complete the career assessment tool. And it recommended so many different routes to them. And now they're exposed and they're looking through each and every option. So one person said they wanted to go into cosmetology. Now they're actually exploring other careers that are really interesting to them. So that's why I'm like, it's so many different routes you can go into. You just got to take time and figure it out. So hopefully I was able to answer that main question that
I
you
don't
had.
know. I'm hoping we're going to hear from Ed shortly when we move that cursor.
Oh, okay. So we
there.
got to click on Ed. Well, you know what? You can actually click on just to get an idea of what it looks like. If you were to hear from Ed at the top,
Right.
there's several ways. So a lot of individuals, if you were to scroll down a little bit, there's a way where you can chat with Ed one-on-one.
All right, there you go.
And then if you did not want to talk to Ed like in that way where a chat feature and you just wanted to kind of listen to some of the questions, you are able to do so as well.
Can we get an intro to Ed?
Can we get an intro?
Can we click on intro to Ed, please?
Let's go ahead and see what it sounds like.
Let's see what he sound like. Can we get his sound up?
I don't know if it's able to say it over in that end.
Yeah,
yeah. They're working on it. So they're working on it.
Yeah, they're going to take care of that.
So we'll get back to that in a second.
Thank you all.
Right, they're amazing.
Being great. Look at them.
Look, they zoomed it in on my end.
Okay, so, look at that.
Now that's Ed. Ed is not me. Ed stands for education. Trust in education. So if you wanted to play it, it'll kind of give you an idea of what he says.
Hoping to get a foot in the door, only to find out once inside or on the bus ride there, this isn't the goal they had in mind. I watch people study one major, then change course several more times, and by the time they figured out what it is they want to go for, they simply run out of funding. Has this happened to you? Maybe someone you know or even heard through the grapevine. The point is, it happens, and it happens more often than what you hear or read about. The government even tried stepping in, slapping regulations on schools, holding them accountable when it comes to career outcomes and debt-to-graduation ratio. But what does it really solve? You're still stuck with student loans you've accumulated over the years, with no degree or certification to show for it. The school's job is to provide a service which they do, some better than most. We must find a better way of figuring out what path should be taken in our educational goals, and this is the sole purpose of why I'm talking to you today. Our goal is to help provide students with a better understanding of what educational steps they may need to take to accomplish their goals by asking a series of questions through an innovative and systematic approach. We hope by taking advantages of our free resources provided through TrustInEd, an online platform will help you save time and money on programs or schools that may not align with your goal. Enjoy our library of resources and make sure to email us with questions or concerns you may have. We take time out of our day to read and address these questions, which you may also find in our library. Although you yourself may have not sent something, but you may find some form of answers through others.
So,
thank you.
This is to give you an idea of what Ed does. Just again, here.
Really? You're going to give them an idea what Ed does? Well, he's going to talk about some of the ways Ed will help us help people who are in the street life find an option. We can even go right there, Google it, pull it up, show them. And then if they say they want to be a technician, a carpenter, or anything, or like they love computers, they got all them apps they playing with on their phone, no matter what they do as young people, good or bad in society, they know how to use them apps on their phones. So we can then take that phone and say, here, you are already prepared for the next generation. Now let's show you how you can find a new opportunity to change your life for the better and get out of this possible environment that can cause you to go to the penitentiary or end up dead. And you want to take it from there and tell us how to use the apps for the next generation.
Right.
And the website in particular.
So that's a good point that you just brought up. Again, a lot of individuals are not, I don't like to say, these individuals are just lost, right? And it takes, misguided, lost, right? You're just not understanding.
Some lost, some is misguided.
Misguided.
They following the wrong path.
That, you know what?
And it's some adults our age just leading them that wrong way.
That is a good point. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, the cover for their fire. They can stay out of the penitentiary and set them fellas. They don't tell them that part. You're going to chase this money and might end up in the penitentiary a lot longer.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of individuals are just kind of pushed into certain industries and they realize that's not what I want to do. And then they kind of find their own thing in the streets. Right. And they figure, oh, I'm pretty good at this in the streets. Why not stay with this, right? But if you really just took some time to explore options and, this channel is really for the older individuals. And I say that because we need you to go snatch these kids off the street and put them in front of this channel. We need you to go snatch these kids off the street and put them in front of the website itself and let them know what the resource looks like, right? So it's important to not just share, but to expose them to it by pulling. Let me see your phone for a second. Go to TrustInEd. All right. Click here. Let's research together. Let's find some different resources that are available to you. Not only, again, do we have all the different career opportunities, but we do have resources in terms of how to locate financial aid and scholarship and grant opportunities to pay for education. We know the difficulties with paying for college. We hear it all the time. I don't have funding to go to school. I don't have money in my pocket. Why would I assume I can go to school? Well, the first thing is, let's first figure out what options are attractive to you. Once we do that, then we can either find a school by going into the option that says locate school, and you can look into the different schools that are in your area. And then once you do that, you can figure out the school and the tuition itself. Now we're on the paying for school option, which is how to apply for financial aid and applying for grants and scholarships. Now, of course, you have your financial aid department that will walk you through that process. But a lot of individuals get so frightened and scared because, again, financial aid is going to ask for so much information. So I created a tutorial, kind of give you an idea of what they're going to be looking for as well. And Ed is the one that's going to be talking directly to you and guiding you through that process. Typically, individuals if we were just to, I think, Financial Aid Department of Education is about $6,800 in Pell Grant right now, $9,800 in unsubsidized loans.
Okay, wow, cool.
So
good info.
If you think about that and you look at a community college, which tuition in the academic year is well under $4,000, that's under the $6,800, right? It's about $4,000 or $5,000 if you go to school full time, and then you think about all your fees and books and whatever else expenses that you may need. That's under the Pell, right? And so you get that Pell for about 4 to 5 years. Again, if you're eligible, every situation is different. I have to let you know that. But if you get that, now you sit back and you have an associate's degree, or you have a certification or a training program, some type of credential under your belt that you really didn't even have to pay for.
Right.
We really have to just figure out what is the next step. And by doing so, then we're able to say and come up with that game plan and figure it out together and make better choices in life. This, the main intention is, of course, everyone having a game plan, but what it's gonna do is get these individuals off the streets. The reason why, because they have better time, better things they can do with their time, right? They have a game plan, and they're not trying to rob and steal, because they can go out there and make their earnings the legitimate way, and be proud of it, right? To go in there and become an electrician, or even having those credentials and doing something a little bit different with it, like robotic engineering or mechanical engineering. So many different routes, but we have to, again, expose our kids, our youth, even adults coming out, again, the reentry department, which is the individuals that are incarcerated, military, anyone that is seeking that next step, adults that are confused and trying to figure out what do they want to do with their life. You know, they worked at a job for 20 plus years and they're tired, and that's where the abuse, substance abuse, really come in. It's like when you sit there and you find yourself trapped with no one to talk to and no one to really kind of, because as a man, I get this a lot. I'm trained to think I need to figure it out on my own, right? Thank God that I'm able to go directly to them and read the Bible and get guidance. But a lot of individuals may not understand that route. So what they do,
Dwayne too.
I have an uncle, right?
And a few other uncles that have family members. So you fortunate you got a network.
When I say it could have went different,
if you need them, and or women if you need them.
You do not judge. It could have been different, right? But being in that position, where I was going with that. He threw me off with my uncle. I apologize.
People having some guidance and somebody to help them through, and men thinking we have to do it ourselves.
Absolutely.
And then we don't always seek out other help that's available to us.
Right.
Whether it's career path, whether it's how we're living, whether it's an opportunity, or if it's emotional.
And
I threw that one in.
Right, and I appreciate
it. It's emotional.
I appreciate it because, you sit back and you can find yourself really going down that rabbit hole. I've been working with a few individuals, adults, right, that are, again, trying to figure out that next step. And it's hard to, again, talk to another individual because you have, at the age 40, you want to come off as, hey, I got it. I know what I'm doing. I'm successful, or I'm stable, right? But people fall on hard times. People get
Definitely.
into that situation where you're feeling like, man, I didn't accomplish everything in life. It's called midlife crisis.
Oh, really? That's what's happening.
and it's this is again, but it's like,
Thanks
hey,
for
I did
defining
not accomplish everything that maybe I sought out to, or I didn't make that right turn when it made a left turn. And it's okay. You are okay, right? I'm talking to you about this at 40, right? This means that this was developed at 38, 39, 40. A new pathway for myself, for you, right? I worked in education for 15 years, but I'm doing it differently. And so I'm here to just recommend these resources because they're free. I don't know how long they're going to be free. But they're free, right? And it's available.
Get
to you.
in now.
Get in now, right?
Get in now.
And even if you're still, again, unsure, there's an option that you can click on, and you can click and go to where it says who's hiring, right? Like I think Indeed, Career Builder, right? So we have our own who's hiring. That way you can look at what kind of careers are available. You can see the actual pay, and that gives you an idea. Oh, I never heard of this career. Let me go look it up on the website. And let me research that information and find out more about it and see if it's something I can find myself doing. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay. Well, that is great information. And I know it's some other things we could talk to about how you can link the next generation to education with real world skills and ways to help people with their mental health challenges. Because one thing I was thinking about as I was looking at this and as you were talking is how we pigeonhole people who are in the street life as that may be all they can do, or they do not have work skills. To follow directions to work a spot in the hood, knowing that you could end up getting yourself seriously hurt, especially if you lose your work, what they call PACs, or if somehow you get your money stolen because you're in the wrong place. It's one thing if somebody come down on you loaded with guns, you're trying to stay alive. But if you go walking off with the money and something happen, and you have to do that. But the reality is too, the guys who organize, bringing drugs back and forth to the corners, organize the workers, those are management skills, and we don't give them credit. One way you get them off the corner is we can help you find a legitimate management job. And then you can change your life, not have to worry about dying out here, worry about getting hurt over these packs, and you don't have to worry about being addicted to the product you currently push, because that happened to a lot of them. That's just the path. Jails, institutions, deaths, the penitentiary with a case, or they get caught up, strung out on the drugs and get a case, and or they end up stuck in that cycle because that's the only thing they believe. You can take the management skills. You can take the fellowship skills. You learn how to do direction, and you can stand on this corner and pitch for him for X amount. Let's see, the average one only makes $15, $18 an hour on that corner.
We're not going to ask why.
So
we gotta questions.
Right. So we gotta show them how you can make better money doing something legitimate, right? And your app gives them an easy access. And what I'm loving about it, I don't have to wait to get information from 1,000 different organizations to take to these kids anymore. When I met him and he told me about his solution, I realized it was my solution. I always have the ability to talk to these young folks, these older folks, these guys that's been drafted into that segment. And I'll let you wrap up with this minute.
So you know what? It's something that you mentioned in terms of leadership skills, and this is a great segue. I mean, it's a great point that you brought up. When we talk about these individuals on the corners, outside in the streets, they have so many skills, and they just don't know that those are skills, right? We talk about, counting money, right? Is a financial analysis, a financial advisor, an accountant, an auditor. It's so many different routes. You hear a lot of strong trades, strong characteristics in the area of money, right? Managing money. You know how much skills you need to have and the patience that you need to have on that. Those are considered certain skills that we can look at and say, you plug that information into Ed, and Ed would spit out what careers you can get into with those type of skills. if you look at the homepage and you scroll down, you're going to see a career assessment tool that you can take that will also identify a few things for you. So we're in the process of just putting together this this work packet.
Okay.
Right, for not the Department of Education, but ISBE, which is Illinois Board of Education, and what we're trying to do is get TrustInEd, and I want everybody to, because you're going to start seeing this in your newspapers and articles, if you still read newspapers. We need to start getting this embedded into the 6th grade and up, where it's an actual class and not just a resource, because that way we are making sure that these individuals are getting off to the right foot.
And we thank you so much, and we're going to have more and more to discuss with you, how to transition people from certain activities in the streets to how we can get them in college, get them in trainings, get them in careers. And we thank you so much for your time. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure again.
All right.